Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Eljay Johnsen Show. This show airs every single weekend, every Saturday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise over on Twitter at the Eljay Johnsen, where you can find updates and guest announcements every single Tuesday. And if you have any questions over the week, make sure you send them over to my email, eljayjohnsen@gmail.com. Remember, that's Johnsen. All right, so quite excited for today. My next guest is actually a returning guest. He was my guest for episode 2, so my second ever guest. He's a good friend of mine and the head of the Bionicle Sector01, or BioSector for legal purposes, BioSector01 Wiki, the best Bionicle Wiki online. It's Steven Wert, otherwise known as Swert. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm a little tired, but I'm usually tired.
Yeah, no, I got you there. That's very relatable.
Yeah, I woke up, I think around 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30. I'm a little excited for today.
Excellent, good. Yeah, no, I'm quite excited. Unfortunately, we're not going to be talking about Bionicle or 810 Day. Excuse me, because I'm actually a proprietor of Clickbait. I'm definitely a clickbaiter.
Yeah, so I want to mention real fast how I'm really excited about the next wave of every set other than Bionicle.
Oh yeah, like Ninjago or Overwatch or
yeah, absolutely. And the other hot button topic to all my friends over at Mass Posting, Marvel sets. Those are going to be really fun coming up here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we got that Hulk helicopter drop or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I need to clarify. So there's this thing happening over on Facebook and another group where there's a sort of like a tournament style. The fans get to decide who wins. Currently, Bionicle is up against Marvel superheroes.
In mask posting?
No, in another group called Lego Set Posting, which again I don't think we can link because I don't know the quality of their posts.
Okay, fair enough. No, that's reasonable.
So if anybody who is willing to try and look for it, by all means, I won't stop you. Okay. But I will not proprietary it. Okay. Mostly because I don't control it.
Fair enough.
No, Bionicle is absolutely demolishing it right now.
Of course.
By a factor of like 10 to 1.
Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me.
if not 100 to 1, actually. I haven't looked lately.
I like that. That makes me a happy camper.
Yeah. No, it's funny because you know how Facebook has reaction ways to do it. So they said you either post a haha react for Marvel or an angry react for Bionicle. It's very angry in there.
Good. I'm glad. I don't know how I should take that, it being angry, but...
You know, I don't know how to take it either, but that's the first time I've actually put an angry react when I meant to be happy. So
fair.
I will take it.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I get that. I'm not going to vote for 2 reasons. 1, you know what my vote is, and 2, I hate Facebook. So, I'll stay out of it.
That's fine. That's fine.
So
I have no problem with you not doing that.
Fair enough. Now, for everyone listening, if you're new here, understand, first of all, I was being facetious. I don't do clickbait. We're obviously going to be talking about the subject that is in the title of the video because that's what we do here. We're honest people here. We're not clickbaiting people. Thank you very much. So, that being the case, Swert, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. First of all, I'm going to make this a staple of the show because it's good to talk to people about commonalities, something that everyone can discuss. That being the weather. So how's the weather?
Not bad. It was raining the other day with some thunderstorms. That was out of nowhere. Right now it's a bit cloudy, but otherwise it's pretty mild.
No, not bad. Not bad. It's getting a little toasty over here, a little hot. Because, it's summer. I don't like summer.
Right? I hate summer so much. I want my snow back. I didn't get any snow this year. I'm annoyed.
Dude, what the heck?
Ugh. Right? I live in the Pacific Northwest. We need rain. We need snow. Yes, I said that quite plainly. I think you can relate to a degree, being in at least that region of the world.
I actually can't. I cannot. Because I know your state. It's a lot more watery than mine is. It gets a lot more rain. Dark clouds are basically a staple of that side of the coast. So,
right.
The weather's a little more varied over here. But all right. So the second question is, because it has been well over a year since you were on this show, go ahead and reintroduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into Lego Bionicle, and what you do now.
Well, my name is Steven Wert, as you've already mentioned, which is where the Swert comes from. I have been with the Bionicle community since 2003 officially, but I got into Bionicle in 2002, very early. Let's see, I've been running BioSector01 officially since 2006 is when I took over, but I was on the staff from 2005. What else? Oh, and I've also been professionally working as a Lego artist since 2010, which shocks some people, but then they get to hear what I do and they're like, oh, okay. And it somehow just becomes boring to them. Which is how I feel about my job some days too. It can be a little boring when I describe it.
Do you still? Are you still a Lego artist?
I do it mostly on a contract basis these days. I don't do it actively every day.
Okay.
But I mean, I have been doing a lot of work with my former boss, now obviously my contractor. He's still pretty chill. He kind of had to move away from a whole studio thing. He does mostly stuff private business now.
Okay.
Fortunately, no longer in the public scene.
Okay. I understand that. I can imagine having such a public store, if it isn't generating enough revenue for a variety of factors, then it's just not feasible to keep open.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. A variety of factors I don't really want to go into because that is not Bionicle.
Yeah. Careful, we gotta keep on Bionicle. We can't talk about anything else, otherwise the show is canceled.
Absolutely. Having said that, I have done some Bionicle commissions, though not using Bionicle sets or stuff.
Okay.
I did a couple of brickheads.
Bionicle brickheads?
Well, I have designed a one based on the Motoro from 2001, the McTorn style.
Actually, I remember that one. Send some pictures of those over. I'm gonna put them up on screen.
I'll see if I can get to them. I have to see if they're on my cloud server or not, because it would have been on the other computer if it's not.
Okay, that's fair. If not, no big deal.
Let me hang on 5 seconds. So one of the other things I've done recently is I've upgraded my tablet to a Surface, so I have a keyboard.
Well, I'm Swert. I mean, I'm using a Surface right now. I call it a desk, and it has a keyboard on it too. No, I'm kidding.
My main computer is in the living room, which is where everybody lives. So I have to go to other parts of the household, and I need something a little more portable than that.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Which is ironic considering my main computer is a laptop.
Yeah, my main computer is not a laptop. It has not been a laptop for a while. It's not not the most conducive to video making, I found.
Right. 5 seconds. Anyway, while I'm looking, yeah, I don't know if we have anything else to go over there. Good news. It is on the cloud server, so I can download it and get a screenshot to you.
Fantastic. Wonderful. So in the meantime, while you send those over, tell us a little bit about BioSector01, or BioSector01, and kind of what you do there, what it is, and the day-to-day.
So the day-to-day, obviously, BioSector01 is a website that was created back in 2004, officially, I believe, is when it first came out. I could be wrong. It was created by Crystal Matrix, and the original intention for it was to create a website where all the storyline information could be pulled up, rather quickly. And that made a lot of sense. Because you kind of want a computer, or you kind of want a reference site that's quick to get to, and everybody, could get to it. Hang on, sorry. A little distracted while I was saving the photo.
I can't hang on. I'm letting go.
Sorry. Got the photo. I'll send it over to you in a second here. Just DM will be fine.
Of course.
All right.
And I'll just drag it and drop it.
I'm so professional.
I make this process as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
So
anyway,
the wiki was set up as a resource for people to find information quickly and easily. So they didn't necessarily need to buy books or comics or so on in order to find out what's going on.
Correct. There he is, tiny little guy.
Really?
Then, of course, later on, the wiki was set up, and that is spelled Wiki. This was actually set up during a time when Wikipedia was still brand new, and the concept of wikis around 2005 were just so alien that people were not sure how to feel about them. They were afraid of the wiki concept. It took me personally and all of the contributors to BSO1 at least 3 or 4 years to finally convince people that BSO1 was reliable enough on a day-to-day basis. That took a lot of effort, and I would like to think me, along with other reference sites out there, we managed to convince the public opinion that, yeah, no, wikis are pretty safe because we know what we're doing. But you never know.
Yeah, obviously there are different qualities of wiki. Wikipedia is one type of quality, and I know it comes under fire a lot for being easily edited by anyone. Anyone can do anything with it. That's why sources are important. BSO1 is one of the most comprehensive wikis on any subject I've seen in a very long time. You have a lot of sources that are being compiled and put on now. It's still an ongoing process, of course, but it's been active. And everything is getting sourced gradually day after day after day. Then you have some wikis, and I don't feel bad about calling this wiki out. The Bionicle Wiki, it's not up to par. It just simply isn't. I don't disparage anyone that works on it. I'm just saying at this point, there is no reason under the sun anyone would want to use the Bionicle Wiki for accurate information when BS1 exists.
You know, honestly, the funny part about the whole thing is I remember when the Bionicle Wiki started under the name Nuipedia, and it was started because we had banned a contributor from BSO1 who was trying to add such information. I don't even remember the context of what he was saying about Kopaka, but I think he was trying to say something along the lines of Kopaka was like the first Toa ever, and it's like, well, what's the source for that? Oh, it's because he appeared on the comic first. That makes absolutely no sense. I mean, sure, he's the first Toa you would see, but even then, that's not true because you saw all 6 on the cover before you even turned that page.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's semantics, but still, he was trying to edit so much weird, like, story content that just we could not verify, and he kept trying to add it back, and we kept reverting it. Finally, we just said, we've had enough of this. This is like your 50th type of edit of this. We're letting you go.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to create Nuipedia.
And I mean, I think that's fairly... That kind of sums up the Bionicle Wikia. It's just a lot of low-grade information that isn't properly sourced, and some of it is just outright fabricated.
Now, I will say, I have to give those guys credit. They saw their problem, and they got rid of that problem pretty quickly, namely the founder.
Oh, really?
He kind of abandoned it. He's not the guy that's currently in charge is certainly not the original guy that started it. I have to give him credit. They actually recognized their problem and solved it. Okay. But it doesn't change the fact that, to me, based on how many people have brought it up, it's either half of it is just poorly written articles. I'm just going to say poorly written. I'm not going to say bad.
I mean, no, I will say bad.
And anything that was necessarily written very well is either somebody finally came in and said, I have to fix this, or they just copied BS1.
Mm-hmm. At which point, I mean, come on,
come on.
I don't even like how the Wikia looks. There are some people who do like the color scheme of the Wikia. The issue is, you can change the color scheme of BSO1 as well. You can't do that for the Wiki. The Wiki is just brown. It looks like it was made in 09 because it hasn't changed since 09.
Well, even the logo still features a Barra Magna.
Exactly,
theme,
yeah.
Now, I will say, I'm openly putting this out there because I've been meaning to do this anyway in a social media post. If anybody has anything they want to say about BSO1 skins, by all means, I am open to listen to suggestions. Please. I actually had a user in one of the Discords that both of us frequent, Bionicle Lego. You know which one I'm referring to.
Oh, yeah.
He actually said the skin that we're using currently as our default, it doesn't have enough of contrast for the font to show properly. So I'm going back and I'm revising that particular skin because of comments like that. I see where he's coming from. I want to fix that. Please, tell me. I want to fix it.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree in that there's not enough contrast. It's black text on a bright background. That is inherently contrasted.
I agree with you.
I just feel like I feel that the more accurate assessment is that the background is a little busy.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm addressing. Is I'm coming back with a more simple background. In fact, here, let me. I'm gonna go ahead and just put this out there. Hang on, it's online.
Excellent, cool. We're gonna get live updates right here. Very briefly, I do want to obviously mention what's on screen right now. It's his Brickhead Motoro. I might be alone in this. I would buy Bionicle Brickheads. I'd buy duplicates of Bionicle Brickheads. That just seems like a really good... I would love to do that.
Absolutely. I just typed that URL by memory, by the way.
All right, let me see this.
So this is my new concept for the light background, based on his contributions.
All right, everyone, go ahead and behold. So this is the proposed light background. This would be the new default for light users?
Correct. And you'll note I keep referring to the word light.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a dark theme being worked on as well.
Excellent. All right, so those are for people that want to damage their eyes. No, I'm kidding. All right.
I was about to say, not to out you, but I do know there are select people, especially those I talk to, who do prefer light skins over dark.
Oh no, don't worry about outing me. I'm proud of using light skins on basically everything. I am one of the people that use the light Discord theme.
Now, I need to clarify something with the Evoke here.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually something I've never done before. If you notice, based on it, in fact, your screenshot here shows it best. My avatar and the BioSector01 logo have always been the style of the Evoke, the stylized version I came up with. What you're seeing in the background is actually a redesigned version of the same logo where I used my original as a template, but I've gone back and I actually filled out the rest of the Evoke because I found the source image.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah, we did get those sources. That's always a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I've added in some, like, stylistic choices here and there. You can't really see it behind the UDD logo, but I'm really proud of how I designed this Evoke. It turned out really nice. I actually believe I sent you a screenshot of that the other day. Didn't I not? Was it to you? Was it to somebody else?
No, it was not to me.
It was somebody else. You know what? It was sent to my friend Matoro. That's right.
Man, we both... Oh, dude, it just occurred to me. We both have a friend named Matoro.
Yes, we do. Mine is, of course, a Twitch streamer who is currently active right now. Otherwise, I'd be poking him.
Yeah.
Having him come on.
Mine is an artist who hosts on TTV.
There you go.
Both incredibly cool people. Although I haven't interacted with your Matoro friend too heavily.
Right.
But I've heard nothing but good things about him.
Right. I have not necessarily interacted with yours either as much, though he or she's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. No, she's wonderful.
I do follow her on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
All right. I've sent you that link now.
All right. Let me go ahead and check this. Oh, okay. Is it a transparent image?
Negative. This
okay,
is
perfect.
Just,
no, that's fine.
Background.
All right. In that case here, is that Evoke? Ooh, it's so shiny. Good.
This is brand new. I only shared this with one Discord server in one of their lesser channels, and BioSector01 staff. That's about it, really. Oh, and Matoro, as I said. So, your audience is getting a lot of sneak peeks of BioSector01 content.
We have a lot of those today. There are a lot of sneak peeks and a lot of clarification on a lot of things happening in the Bionicle community right now.
And in fact, I just realized this is actually an older version now that I look at it, because I did not install the lines along the temple there on the newer version.
Okay, fair.
So this one's I think a revision earlier, but that's okay. You get the basic concept.
Yeah, you kind of get the idea.
I would totally use this as a lot of different things. I really like how this turned out.
Yeah, no, it looks... I mean, I've seen this for so long that I associate the Evoke with BioSector01. It's just such a staple.
Right. A long time ago, a discussion had to be made, especially around 2007 and 8, what would be the most iconic mask of Bionicle? One would argue, quite correctly, that the which one I'm thinking of, the Ignika would be a better choice because it is the mask of life. I argue, which mask has been in more prominent sets, and I would argue it's the Evoke.
I think it's an interesting direction. I think that it works for the website. If it were up to me, if you asked me what the most iconic mask for Bionicle is, it's the How.
Oh, I mean, it's the How.
Yeah,
no doubt, it is the How.
If you want to argue what the most important mask is, then you would be right. It is the Ignika.
But there's also a secondary part of that is our first official chronicler was always Takua. He is the chronicler.
That is actually an excellent point.
That was the other consideration. Now, it could be argued that any mask could represent Bionicle just as effectively as the other. But I still argue that this represents the aspects of Bionicle to me.
Yeah, no, I think that whole chronicler thing you mentioned, it really sells me on it.
Absolutely. It took me a while to finally come up with the symbology of it, and I'm like, well, how can I justify it? Oh.
Yeah, no, I get that a lot. Oh gosh, there's something I was going to say. It wasn't about the Evoke, I don't think. Oh yeah, it was about your comment, the argument that any Bionicle mask could be used to represent Bionicle. I will 100% disagree there. Just because I don't want the Kanohi Elda to represent anything about Bionicle.
Okay. I will say, having been a collector of all of the 2001 masks, I'm a little biased there.
No, same.
Because I'm literally in the room with all of my masks on the stands. I think I've shown you that photo before, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think we had it. Well, whoopsie days, I deleted the picture. Okay,
Oops.
Here we go. Not the mask. I am deleting the Evoke, but this is a Kanohi Elda, for everyone who isn't familiar with the terminology. But, yeah, no, I obviously have a massive bias toward the 01 masks. I mean, it'd be crazy of me, of all people, to say, 01 masks? Nah.
That reminds me, I don't recall. Do you actually have a full set of masks by now? I have to imagine you have close to one. Yeah.
It's very... Well, what do you consider a full set of masks?
Okay. In my opinion, and just because I'm not made of money, my full list of masks would be all of the original, whatever could be viably purchased in a store that was intended for the release of. So, for example, all of the original Toa Mata, all the Turaga masks, and any of the Matoran masks, any of the Rahi's masks, the gold and silver masks, and with limited exception, a couple of the misprints. For example, the black and the red Ruru, which was available in that Bionicle clock, which is how I ended up getting mine. So I don't really consider a full collection including, say, the Transneon Green Miru, which of course I have a couple, or the other misprints. I call those bonuses. I don't consider them a gate to the full. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can... The Bionicle clock is where I have the hang-up. I've had people call me out and be like, "You didn't review the Bionicle clock! But it's buildable and it has the mask in it!" And
I will go ahead and address it for you, because I actually have the clock on my shelf with 2 masks in it, and I can tell you right now, no, you don't need to review it. It's not... It was always going to be a system clock first, with a couple of pieces of Bionicle in it. And if you were to... I would be more than happy to let you look at my version. You know, I've got the box and everything. It has a sticker on the side, but, you know...
I wouldn't be too opposed to that. I think...
I just have to find a way for us to get together to talk about it.
Yeah, I do plan on going to BrickCon eventually. I've planned on doing that, I think, for the last 8 years, because that's how long I've been in the state of Idaho.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
and I don't know about BrickCon myself. I know I'm definitely going to PAX West, but that's not something in your book.
No, it's not within my purview. Also, of the trips happening this year, I think I'm sticking to one this year, so BrickCon's probably out for 2019, simply because Brick Fair Virginia is just such a massive event, and it's...
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and, you know, actually it's been my secret ambitious goal to actually go there, but I would be in disguise. Just so nobody would recognize me at first, especially the Bionicle group, because I always mention to everybody, yeah, no, I would love to go there, I just can't really go out there, I can't do that. And would it be hilarious for me to just show up in a fake beard, faker than my real beard, sunglasses, and wearing, like, I don't know, the most obvious that it's not Swert. I would just be wearing, like, I don't know, a New England Patriots hat or something. That would be the most anti-Swert if you could get if I can get my hands on one. I'm gonna have to wash my hands shortly afterwards.
Yeah. See, I don't follow sports, so a lot of this goes over my head, but I understand the rivalry aspect.
Thank you. Yeah, no. Proud Seahawks fan. Thank you.
Fair enough.
Of course, now your entire chat is gonna devolve into the Seahawks are garbage or something. But,
I hope that.
No, let's hope not. Please don't.
But
support your team, but don't trash the other teams, please.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, very briefly, before we move on, because there is something, there are a couple things we need to get to. On the clock, before anyone kind of sinks their hooks into this line, it's not a set, it's considered gear. So what gear would be stuff like shoes, backpacks, hats, shirts, bracelets, pens. It's stuff that aren't Lego sets. They are promotional material that you would use in your everyday life. So it's what's called gear.
Yeah, I would agree with that definition.
Yeah, well, that's
just sets. Yeah, no, that's what Lego called it as well.
Exactly, right. And so for instance, just because it has an additional piece in it doesn't make it a set. It just means it's gear with a part to try and get you to buy it. A good example of that would be the Nike shoes. They came with a transparent orange Krata. It's not a canon item. It doesn't really do anything. It's just one Krata, but it came with the shoes. But the inclusion of that part doesn't make the shoes a set. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Excellent. Awesome. Okay, let's get into some really cool stuff, because we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Obviously in the title, just so we're not clickbait. We're not clickbait. Let's go ahead and first discuss, because it's a good way to bridge into the other thing we're talking about today. Let's discuss 810 Day, otherwise known as 810NICLE Day, I guess is the proper.
Okay, so the intended goal of, I'm just going to go ahead and call it what it's supposed to be, Bionicle Day.
Okay, fair enough.
I realize the day might seem a little strange to people because it's certainly not the first day of when Bionicle was released, and it certainly doesn't have any significance whatsoever other than it just happens to include the numbers 810, which is, the first three numbers of Bionicle when you look at it in what we consider...
It looks like BIO, so let me go ahead and type it for people. So that is the association. The association that is being made here.
Absolutely. Now, I realize... let me go ahead and get this out of the way because I know people will ask me about this, and they do, and I agree with them. They ask me the question, but Swert, why wouldn't it be October 8th instead? The simplest answer I can give you is because I'm a silly American, and we go with the other way of saying things. It's month.
Yeah,
what's that?
It's month day. I'm gonna go the opposite direction. I'm an American, dang it, and I'm not following. Years ago, we made a declaration to say the words how we want to. So for us, July 4th is coming up, everyone. Wait. Oh, no.
It is coming up next week.
It is. So you know what? Rest of the world, we declared that we get to say it month, then day. So for us, and for all of you participating, no matter where you are, it's August 10th.
So, to to drill in a little further,
Go ahead.
the other reason is because I did not want to wait until October to actually debut some of the amazing things we have. So that's why it's August.
Fair
I was
enough.
not willing to wait another 3 months after.
Yeah, and that is
2
another
months.
good reason. So, that being the case, tell everyone what they have to expect for Bionicle Day.
So, a couple of things, and I'm also putting this out here to all of my wonderful friends and not so friends, but I would like to be friends of the Bionicle community, especially the leads. I mean, I'm talking to you guys directly. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
We're all good. Yes, you too. If you didn't notice a message from me, or if you never saw a message from anybody, I would love for you to participate in this particular day. Bring something to the table. I would love to involve as many of you as I can, because this is for us. It's not just for BSL1. It's not just for my other guests we were about to reveal. This is for us. Please, help me make this the best we can be.
All right. Now, my
ahead.
follow-up question, well, it's more of a clarifying statement. So for those that were familiar with the event when it aired, this is sort of a combination of Makuta Fest and Chronicler's Convergence, in a sense.
It is a bit of that, yes. Yeah, I love the times when we were planning Makuta Fest. I mean, I know it was a bit tricky for us, especially with all of our different thoughts of what should be in there kind of colliding. And my goal is, I mean, Makuta Fest, I think we retired it at the right time. It needed to be put to bed. We had the right cast and crew on to let it go. I was glad you were there for it.
I do actually have some mixed feelings on the last one. Not because I thought it went poorly, but because there was someone that was there that I didn't want them to be there.
Yeah, I wasn't going to name anybody.
No,
but
I'm not
again,
naming them either.
We already know who we're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I campaigned very hard against their inclusion, but it didn't work.
No, I understand. But I will mention right now, that should be our tagline. No, insert this person here. That will drive everybody to the event.
Oh, perfect. Well, he's not here, so it's got to be good. But
that's right. I won't be there. Oh well.
So for now, wait, what? For now,
no, I'm kidding.
What do we have to expect? What is going to be shown? What are the plans for the day?
So the first thing I'm planning to do that day will be BSL1 has been working a bit behind the scenes, and in some cases behind my back. With my staff. Well, that's fine. He's my ambassador. He can do whatever he wants. I've given up. So the BSL1 ambassador, Doric, actually had an opportunity to go to Emerald City Comic Con with me on the first day, and one of the first things we did is track down Bionicle comic artist and local legend, I'm sure, Stuart Sager. He was at Comic Con.
Ah, yes. Stuart Sager. He never replied to my email, by the way.
I tried.
No, I appreciate
he
it.
never replied to our emails either.
That's all right.
I finally tracked him down, and I got to talk to him face to face, and that's how I got a hold of him.
Fair.
A little hard to ignore your email when you're saying hi to him in his face.
Yeah, that is true. So, what...
At this point, this was the third time I've had a chance to meet with Mr. Sager, and the first time that Doric met him.
Oh.
So one of the things we did during that particular trip was ask about a commission. How much would it cost to get a certain character? Now, I have not necessarily gotten permission to reveal the character, but when has that ever stopped me?
Are you sure you want to?
I want to tease it at least. I want to tease it so badly, and I will.
Okay, tease it. Go for it.
The character, I will give you 2 hints. It is a character from 2007. That makes sense. He did the comics there. Mm-hmm. And it's one that he didn't necessarily have a chance to draw a lot of.
Ooh.
And that's all I'm going to leave it as for now.
I like that. That's a good teaser.
Now, because he didn't have a chance to draw this particular character very often, he had to use a reference, hello, to track down the photo of the said character. And he was really appreciative of the Bionicle community just having so much reference material that he's just like, wow, I was able to do this in like an hour.
Do you think he stumbled across my review and was like, yeah, I'm going to use this as a reference? Because I really hope
that's
not.
a good question. That's a really good question. I mean, you know who the character is. I've shown you
Oh, yeah.
a teaser of the photo.
Oh,
a
yeah.
teaser.
I'm well aware.
Yeah.
But I really hope not.
I need to clarify, yes. We asked for a commission of a Bionicle character. I need to clarify that.
Yeah.
So Stuart Sager drew us a Bionicle character. Dork ended up getting the original master, and we scanned it and emailed back to him a scan so that he could do prints later on. That was his only requirement as to why the price was so low, but it was not that low.
No.
I'm not going to mention the price on stream. It was a price.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will. I'm shaking my head I'm nodding my head in agreement.
Yeah, but that's just the first commission. Then they went behind my back and got a second artist. And this one I mentioned to you, I think, briefly, but I don't think I actually got very far. We're also getting a second art commission from Randy Elliott, who did the comics, of course, from 2003 to 2005. So this particular piece was going to be another character. I'm just going to tease it. Certainly a character that has been drawn before, I'm pretty sure. I have to look it up again.
You are correct. The character has been illustrated previously.
Right. And, of course, surrounded by a few other characters that have also been previously illustrated. But it's a new pose. It's a new group shot. I personally have seen a preview of it. I love what it looks like so far.
Group shot?
Yes.
I did not know about this.
Oh. Well, there you go.
Now I'm super excited.
You have something to look forward to. I do not know what its current progress is. I've not been kept in the loop because, again, it was done behind my back. But I have seen some previews in our little group chat that we have.
I like this.
Because, of course, I have to have a group chat where we talk about Pokemon.
But Swert. Digimon. Digital monsters. Digimon are the...
They have been brought up a couple of times in that group chat. Yes.
I'm going to assume in a positive manner. No.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dork is absolutely a fan. And
yes.
Do you remember Erebus?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still in there.
Okay,
so was Choli. We have a lot of people that I've just kept around just to talk to. So Erebus is still in there. Dork is still in there. Spirit is in there. I talk to him daily.
Excellent. He's cool. I can confirm he's been on my show.
Cholsey is pretty still there. Yes, he has. I remember seeing that show.
Perfect.
Cholsey is still in there. Really cool guy. I would love to get any of them onto Bionicle Day. I might talk them into getting onto Discord at least once or twice for it. We'll see.
Not unreasonable. Okay.
But that does lead into the next part of why I wouldn't want them on Discord for that day, isn't it?
That is correct.
So, in addition to revealing these two beautiful art prints that we're getting, I shouldn't say beautiful, that's strumming up a little. But then again, they are pretty beautiful.
I will say, I mean, I think I've spoken to Stuart Sager before in the past. He's an unbelievably nice person. I do not have a preference toward his artwork. However, I will confirm it is cool. I think people are really going to enjoy it. But continue.
Absolutely. The next thing we're doing is a live stream with some friends, well, mutual friends, I should say, to a degree, with the Beaver House, also known as Lightstone Studios. That's kind of their other name. And we're going to be debuting... basically, one of the things we stumbled upon on Steam was this game called Tabletop Simulator, which I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
I've heard of it. I have never played it.
Okay. All Tabletop Simulator is basically a sandbox that allows you to play traditional card or board games in it that has a giant Steam workshop set up that people have been submitting new crazy ideas in. About half a dozen, I'm just going to say it for your audience, Apple to Apples clones. I think you can get the subline of what that means. There is also There's also a couple of Bionicle games in there, including the Mask of Light board game and the game that we're planning to play. We haven't tested it yet, so this might change on the day. We don't know. Are you familiar? No, of course you're familiar. But the Bionicle Quest for the Masks card game.
Yes. In fact, I actually have a few cards because last year at Brick Fair, a fan of TTV, and I believe someone who was on the Beaver House, or rather Lightstone Studios podcast, Gathered Friends, they gifted a bunch of, or Kume gifted a bunch of cards to me at Brick Fair last year, which was incredibly kind. And I'm very, very grateful to have them. So yeah, I'm familiar with it, but I've never played it.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to be playing that kind of in like a live stream format. For
Bit of a
Bionicle.
live stream format, yes. The goal is we're going to be playing it. I actually, to that end, I tracked down the original rules on the Upper Deck website via Wayback just to figure out how to play this game because it is so confusing. Even the rule book that I had physically in my hand was hard to follow. But I finally pulled up the website and it finally made sense. It took a long time, but I finally got it to work. And I'm like, oh, this makes sense. So we're planning to play it with at least 4 people in a live stream format on both. I think simulcast will be Twitch and on YouTube at the same time.
That makes sense.
So there'll be 2 options to go there. And one of the biggest features, and that's especially good for your audience and for you, I have mandated family friendly.
All right, family friendly. Now, yeah, that is important to note. Beaver House, really fun fellas. They don't do things family friendly like here.
Nope. It is a bit of a mature audience warning. Right.
However, I do actually recommend not only that, but their podcast, Gathered Friends. If you don't mind the lack of family friendly handling, then I think you're going to have a really good time. But that's good. That is good. If you do want to be included and you are concerned about it being family friendly, you say that it will be.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
I also hope to get a few other guests on during the live stream, and one of the other important things during the live stream comes into the next part of what will make Bionicle Day so amazing. So I have gotten together with a friend of mine who wrote about 100 trivia questions and just left them in a Word document. I think it was Word, probably Google Docs.
It was a Google Doc.
I mean, what?
I think.
Yeah, I was given permission to take about 25 questions, and I have taken 20 of those and made an actual quiz on Google Sheets, basically. I think it was Sheets or Poll or whatever. The goal is I'm going to put a link on social media and allow people to basically try their hand at these trivia questions, and the top 3 winners will be invited to come along to a Discord call to compete in a live trivia battle.
Huh.
That is my goal.
So I'm just immediately out. No.
I was about to say, yeah, no, you're immediately out. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Even
I
if
think
this...
it's pretty obvious who wrote the question.
I have a document with 100 trivia questions that I made for Brick Fair, Virginia last year, which, a little bit of a teaser of my own. I'm reusing the document for this year. Brick Fair, Virginia has a lot in store for Bionicle fans. So it's about 100 questions, and Swert has a few of them. I vouch for the questions. I think that they're really solid, and that sounds like fun. Even if I didn't write the questions, I'd be out anyway, because, I mean, it's just... I know the answers to all of them.
No, I'm pretty out, too. I mean, there are a couple of there that were pretty tricky for me at first, but I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I actually ended up removing one question because it was a bit confusing, and I think we've talked about it. I'm not going to reveal it because I don't know if you're going to reuse the question or not.
Yeah, that was
it's a good trick question regardless.
I'm not going to because I used it last year.
Okay.
But
so should we go over it, or do you think we should
is it the infection one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the question was essentially, how did the Toa cure Tahu Nuva of his infection when he was poisoned by Lirak? And the answer is Toa power. However, there's a bit of I won't say controversy because obviously it's not public.
Confusion would be a better way to say it, I think.
Yeah, uncertainty. I will actually go with.
Uncertainty, sure.
We're uncertain as to whether or not that is the case because there are very, very slightly contradictory statements on that. There is something that says Greg has said that the process used to disinfect Kanohi masks was used on Tahu as well. However, the process to disinfect Kanohi masks requires the elemental powers of 6 Toa. And in the Mask of Light film, you only had 3.
3. Yeah.
So it's possible that they used a similar process, not necessarily the same. And it's possible that you don't need as many Toa because it is a poison, not an infection, as we traditionally know it.
Right. That's the other thing is the Lerock used his poison, which is a completely different power altogether. Now, had the Krata jumped out and infected his mask, that would be a completely different story.
Yes. Yeah. At that point,
a little bit redundant because they've already tried that with Leo and it didn't work so well.
Don't remind me.
No, it was a really cool scene, actually, especially in the ending.
Oh, don't get me wrong. That fight scene is my favorite from the franchise, bar nothing. But poor Liwa.
I know.
All right.
Anyway, so the intended idea is now obviously the trivia off. I mean, I'm not sure what we're going to call it yet. I'm just calling it a trivia offer right now. We are going to have the 3 finalists play for prizes, which have already been provided by BZ Power. Yet another fan base that I managed to look into this whole day. Yeah, they will be providing and also shipping the prizes, so I don't even have to touch them. That makes my life easier.
All right, not bad. Thank you, BZ Power.
Yep, absolutely. I'm willing to reveal those prizes here in a second. I think I have them on a DM with Black 6.
Oh,
because
all right.
Of course I talked to Black 6 directly.
Of course.
Let's see. He offered the following prizes, and here's the thing. We talked about it. The prizes had to be Bionicle related. Now, unfortunately, G1 sets are going to be a little tricky to get a hold of these days in a prize-worthy state. I'll say it that way. Not to say we can't get them, but currently G2 is absolutely the easiest thing to get on short notice.
Mm-hmm.
So the first prize pack would be Gali, Uniter, and Akita. A really cool duo. I mean, I think Akita is one of the better sets of the 6 creatures. I just like how stylized Akita is.
Yeah, I like Akita. I'm not big on Gali Uniter, but Akita's cool.
Yeah, but as a pair, I'm okay with that. I think a better team would have been getting maybe... what are your thoughts on Uxar?
Uxar's great. He's easily my favorite creature.
Mm-hmm. But what about Liwa Uniter?
He's my favorite because I'm biased. However, if I were to remove my perspective on it, he's definitely one of the weaker ones.
I think Liwa Master was a better set compared to the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I believe that about all of them. I think Tahu Master and Liwa Master are the 2 best of the 2015. And then I could take the other 4 from the other wave. Though, no, Gali Master is also kind of higher up in that regard. So I would piecemeal them together because I'm not really a big fan of Onoa Uniter. Not well, no, sorry, Onoa Master.
Wait,
sorry,
you're not a fan of Onoa Master?
Not really. I didn't like how big and bulky he was. He reminded me too much of that Hulk set that they put out.
Dang, yeah, no, I'm big on that set. I think it was really good.
Compared to the two. As a set, it's fine. But then you bring in Onoa Uniter, and I'm like, that feels a little better. And I also like the mask a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm a little biased because, of course, I've always been a fan of the Nuva Cube, and then they stamped the Nuva symbol on every single mask.
That is
even
fair.
if it's not entirely not completely correct.
Yeah.
Liwa.
Yeah. Wait.
The second
Gali.
Liwa's Uniter. Yeah.
Both of them.
His
both of them
Uniter
have an
mask.
issue.
Oh yeah, and Gali's was backwards. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is Skull Basher, a very interesting skull set. Probably the most interesting out of them, but not the strongest. I mean, I'm not doing these in order of like last to first. I mean, I'm just throwing them out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'll have it be is because obviously there are 3 participants and 3 prize packs. It'll be whoever wins gets the first choice. That is the most fair, I think. Though I have a feeling I know what number 1's going to be immediately as soon as I reveal it.
All right, let's hear it.
Umarak the Destroyer.
Ooh. Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
So the prize
a very,
is...
very tempting prize.
So
granted, I prefer Umarak the Hunter, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Gali and Akita, those are together. They're not separate prizes. Is that right?
Correct. Those are together because that felt a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I might also add in something else with Skull Basher. I also personally own a Skull Slicer that I'm not using, so I might put those 2 together, and that might help punch up the impact. But Umarak the Destroyer on its own is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. Okay. All right, so the prizes are Umarak the Destroyer, Gali and Akita, and Skull Basher.
And possibly Skull Slicer. That's to be determined.
Fair enough. All right, those are good prizes. Especially, yeah, you are right. Bionicle G2 sets are a bit harder to... Well, they're more expensive to get, on average.
They are a lot harder to get nowadays, as far as pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is, I think, because... Well, I mean, do we even have time to go over the complexities of why G2 failed?
No, unfortunately, we don't.
No. We're going to have to save that for a whole different episode.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot to unpack there.
That's a shame. That also requires, like, 3 other people and a round-robin discussion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's my opinion.
In that case, what else is in store for Bionicle Day?
I'm glad you asked. So there is also... another group, I mean, we already discussed them. Lightstone Studios / the Beaver House has been working on a game for the past year and a half. Now, I need to clarify a couple of statements before we get into it, or should we show the trailer first?
You know what? Let's go ahead and show the trailer first, and then we'll explain what it is.
All right.
So, we're going to go ahead and mute, and I'm going to show you a trailer. You can find it online already. The trailer for what you're about to see is already on Lightstone Studios, their YouTube channel. So if you want to see it in the highest quality possible, definitely go there. In the meantime, if you have not already seen it, we're going to go ahead and play it here. Please enjoy.
Can I play?
Times are dark and evil rules. Strange canisters drift ashore on the island of Mata Nui. Six legendary heroes have arrived.
Listen. Do you hear it? It's getting closer.
Bionicle, the legend of Mata Nui. 6 heroes, 1 destiny.
All right, so that is the trailer for Bionicle, The Legend of Mata Nui, rebuilt. So, Swert, tell us what in the world that is.
So, as you have seen in the trailer, all of this looks pretty reminiscent of a game that may have been teased back in 2001. That's because it's the exact same game. This was the game developed and advertised back in which comic? 3 that they officially announced it, or 2?
I would have to go back
four?
and check.
I'd have to go back and check as well. It was really that far back. This was being developed in conjunction with Mata Nui Online Game, where this would have been the tales of what the Toa did, where Mata Nui Online Game sort of told from the Matoran point of view, as, happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, the game itself was, I think at some point, canceled due to either budget or other reasons. I don't remember.
There were a variety of reasons. It's been... Actually, I did an episode with Vakiti on this show, and we really delve into it and go into the backstory. It is a really good listen. Vakiti's really fun to talk to. So go and check that out if you want more information on that. But continue, Swert.
All right. So let's go ahead and get back into the current then, since that's been covered. Mm-hmm. So the idea is the game had to be delayed a couple of times. The rebuild, had to be delayed. And finally, Vakiti came up to me and said, "Hey, would you mind if I just release this on Bionicle Day?" Absolutely not. Go right ahead. What am I supposed to say? No, you can't do that. What are you crazy? Don't go anywhere near my Bionicle Day. This is mine. No.
Yeah, no.
Release.
Get that out of here.
So I need to clarify to everybody what it is, and this is something that Vakiti has been talking about with me, because there's been some confusion as to what exactly this is. Oh. So first and foremost, this is not necessarily a new game. This is not a reboot of 2001. This is not. Hang on, I'm gonna pull up the full list of what he said in here.
Swert.
So
obviously, this is Lego officially releasing the game for the first time, right?
Unfortunately, that is not the case. So this is a game that has been worked on. So I love that Vakiti basically mentioned, I'm going to read this almost verbatim. He said, "I think it's necessary to get out there to say, because I think our trailer was made a little too well."
Vakiti is really good at making trailers. He's really good at it.
So according to him, half the people he sees posting on or about it either think it's an official revival of Bionicle G1 or an entirely brand new game. So we need to clarify, this is not a brand new game. It's certainly a game that we have not had before, but it's not a brand new game by the traditional sense. This is one that he was able to find the alpha code for and was able to start rebuilding with his team from the ground up, essentially, to make it work on modern systems using updated models. It looks gorgeous already. One or two more tweaks here and there would be amazing. And the idea is 1.0 will be released on Bionicle Day. Though I need to emphasize this because this is something he needed me to emphasize. It will not include the final battle with Makuta on the official release. Even though it is a 1.0, that is still being developed.
Okay.
But to clarify again, I said Makuta battle. I didn't say Makuta cutscene. That is an important clarification. Because that was another thing people were concerned about. I can promise you, based on what I'm seeing, it's not going to be a cutscene at the end. It's a battle.
Cutscene. Do you mean the original cutscene where it's after they beat Makuta and they're dancing?
No. To clarify, some people were worried that it would basically take the original footage from Mata Nui Online Game where we saw them fighting. They were afraid that they wouldn't be able to play that level at all. That it would just be a recreation in the game engine of that scene. Which I granted, that would be pretty awesome too. I actually would love to see a 3D recreation of the online game scene. Mm-hmm. But that's not what they're planning to do that I know. I don't know if I've been clear to reveal the full plans yet, mostly because I don't know half of those plans, but that's not their plan.
Okay, fair enough. So, to to summarize, Rebuilt is taking all of the components of what had been cut from the game when it was being developed, putting it back into the game, revitalizing a lot of the assets, remodeling, retexturing, really improving how it looks, how it functions, adding new functions and features, and making it the most as close to the heart of the project when it originally began as it can be, and being a fun new experience for people that are interested in seeing what a lot of what was intended initially.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're not going to have the final version upon release on Bionicle Day. However, it will eventually be done.
Right. I think I can liken it to another game that's been developed by fans, which is a game called Black Mesa, which is a recreation from the ground up of the original Half-Life game in the source game engine. And they didn't release the final level until they still actually haven't released it as of this recording. But the last level is still being teased heavily, and it's still being highly anticipated 2 years after they released the full game.
Man, people really like Half-Life.
I was a huge fan of Half-Life back in the day. I loved playing Half-Life 2. I loved the episodes when they came out. I'm a little bummed we're not getting the resolution to that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I still hold out a little hope because I think they rehired that particular writer back. I could be wrong.
Okay. Fair enough.
But we'll see.
Okay. There is a question from the Dinosaur Planet, and we're about to get into questions in just a moment. And he does ask, "Is it free?" I'm not sure if that's in reference to the music. I'm assuming it's in reference to this.
I'm referring to. I will assume it refers to the game, and I have to say, it will be free. As far as I know, Beaver House is not planning to charge anything for it. And I'm pretty sure, from my own opinion, a personal opinion, I'm pretty sure Lego probably approved them to do this, but not for profit. That would probably cross the line there.
Yeah, Lego works on a very hands-off basis until they have to defend their IP, which they are surprisingly lenient about things.
Absolutely. In fact, so one of the other groups that was associated with this particular game is Biomedia Project, which is another thing that Vakiti is also part of. Now, I also need to air some things out there. I have no problem with Biomedia Project existing alongside BioSector01. I think they work together in tandem very well because they're not doing any story reference. And yes, I host some media, but I will never have all of their media.
Mm-hmm.
I think we work pretty well in tandem together.
Yeah, they're both immaculate resources for all that you could want for Bionicle knowledge.
Absolutely. But yeah, they also do host a lot of the old games in either a ROM format or similar, or an ISO file for some of the games out there. They actually have the Bionicle Heroes game discs on their website right now for download, and they've gotten permission from Lego to do that.
Yes.
I have to emphasize that carefully.
Yes.
They have permission from Lego, the copyright holder of this property, to put it on their website, because as far as they're concerned, it is well past the sale date that they would make any money from it.
Yes, that is correct. And it's not just Bionicle Heroes. It's Bionicle the game, Bionicle Heroes. I think it's if it's not all, then it's pretty much almost all of the Bionicle video games. They are all on BioSector, or my apologies, Biomedia Project. It's a lot of bio. Biomedia Project. I've actually downloaded the ISO for Bionicle the game, and I can confirm it works. It's fantastic. I cannot emphasize that enough.
I really should pick up the Bionicle the game just to put it on my computer, see how it runs on there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tomorrow. I'm busy today.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no. Lego has this weird policy when it comes to their stuff. I mean, I've always been what I felt in the gray area when it came to saving their images and putting it on my website. I always felt they might just come down and say, "Stop doing that." They never do. In fact, they fully recognize and know that I exist. I have actually spoken many times with Kevin Hinkle. You of course know him, obviously.
I actually just posted something in the chat.
Ah,
Interesting. So, Mr. Hinkle Jaws, another channel I highly recommend, that says Lego does not approve things like this. They just don't say no.
thank you for clarifying that for me, Mr. Hinkle. I appreciate you correcting me from the outside, because you have more of an insider knowledge than I ever will in my life. Mostly because I don't think Lego would ever hire me.
I don't think you want to work for Lego.
At this point, no. I don't really bring anything to the table that they don't already have. And I'm pretty sure I can't build to their standards, even if I wanted to.
Potentially.
I've tried. I am nowhere near as good as some of their designers.
They have
I
a
always
significant-
praise their set designers and their model makers. They are all fantastic. I cannot hold a candle to half of them easily.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm referring to the whole body of that half. There's a lot of set designers. I know that.
Oh, yeah. There are quite a few.
And having done my own instructions, and that's the thing, I've been doing Lego sets for, professional level. I had to do the design work, I had to do the instructions, I had to break down how each step was supposed to go. That is crazy. How can anybody do that for a living and then move on to the next project and do it again? It's insane.
It takes some passionate people, that's for darn sure.
It really does. It really does. So my hat's off to all of them. Not the Patriots hat. That thing is in the fire. I mean, hey, call back.
I'm a patriot of America. No, okay. So, back to center.
That's your that's
We'll go ahead and wrap this up. Bionicle Legend of Mata Nui Rebuilt. It's going to be coming out officially on August 10th, Bionicle Day. You get to play it for free, and it is essentially the rebuilt iteration of the first production of the game. It's remastered. Well, I hesitate to say remastered. However, it is visually enhanced, visually upgraded with, obviously, as the trailer said, new mechanics, new levels, and a progression system and a sideline story system that has been worked on extensively. I know the folks working on it are working very hard on the entire thing. It's going to be really fun. I'm looking quite forward to it.
I am also looking forward to it. Mostly because I actually have been saving playing it at all until this very moment, because I want to experience it clean. I don't want it tainted with something that might break.
Oh, yeah. I get that. I recently played through the beta of Bionicle Legend of Mata Nui. Oh my gosh, let's move on. That being the case, is there anything else for Bionicle Day that you are ready to discuss now, or are we going to wait for more updates coming soon?
I'll be honest, there are a couple other things, like the teaser that I've been getting for giveaways that we might be also able to do. That's still up in the air. Okay. That's why I have not wanted to reveal too much. A lot of this is, I'm not going to say that everything's happening in a flurry, but, let's be honest, it is happening a bit of in a flurry.
Oh, yeah.
You were there every step of the way when we were playing Makuta Fest, especially the last one.
I never missed one.
It was not something we did. We tried to avoid doing it slapdash, but at the same time, it kind of felt like everything folded together at the last minute. Yeah. Always in the 11th hour, this is what we had to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to think that we pulled it off. I'd like to think we can do it again.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think it was pulled off.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, fair enough. In that case, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know the extent of my involvement. So if anyone following the show follows me on Twitter at the Eljay Johnsen, I will possibly be making an announcement that we will not be hosting a show that day because I might be involved in the happenings of this. We'll see. Nothing's for sure. It's all up in the air. But, okay. Swert, would you like to answer some questions?
Absolutely.
All right.
Just type something in chat there.
No worries. So we will first get to the email questions because we do have some. However, I will go ahead and open the questions up in the YouTube live chat, so go ahead and ask away. First question from Spidey Central. Swert, what is your favorite part of running BSO1?
I think it's just watching the whole thing unveil itself, evolve itself over the years. Like, it's started so rough, but eventually when you start chiseling away at a precious gem, it's going to look like something amazing. I'd like to think we're just about there, but there's still so much we can do to enhance its beauty without causing too much problem. But also I need to clarify, just as a warning to everybody else, chiseling too much away could lead to something pretty ugly. So we have to balance ourselves there as well. And I reference that as we've been updating a couple of pages on BS1 recently, a couple of users, and I'm okay with some of these changes, but one of the changes was being made specifically to the Mata Nui online game, where some of our referencing of characters uses the newer spelling. The article has been updated to include the old spelling now. I'm curious what your thoughts on that would be, because I haven't actually brought it up yet, because it just happened within the last 48 hours.
So let me see if I understand. So it's the Mata Nui online game page. And so all of the reference to characters on the page that have had name changes, the wording is old?
They have gone... So, for example, Joller has now been reverted back to Jala. Maku now spells it M-A-K-U. Now, we have not used the forbidden word that we now use for Matoran. I'm pretty confident we have not changed that, but that's only because that's one of those things I don't want to be... I don't want to cause controversy there. And if we have, I'm gonna revert it back. It's a tricky subject. It really is. But it's mostly just the name changes at this point, it looks like.
I'm
just curious what your thoughts would be. Yeah. There are not a whole lot of changes made to the page itself. It's just one or two names here and there. It's not the worst.
I think it's fine because canonically it is a time period thing. The names did actually end up changing story-wise, which is obviously a cover for the legal side of things, but I think that's serviceable. So, okay. You want to move on next question?
Absolutely.
Okay, Leozander asks, Swert, what is your favorite Bionicle novel? And what is your favorite character that we never got a set or combiner for?
So this is going to shock a lot of people because everybody knows my actual thoughts on the year that this novel came from, you included. But Time Trap has always been my favorite novel.
Yeah. No,
I think it is one of the greatest pieces that Greg has ever written for Bionicle directly. I think it is arguably one of the best novels overall, but this is just my own personal opinion. Obviously, some of the Bionicle Legends stories are also pretty good, especially Downfall was a really good novel in itself, but Time Trap has always felt... I don't like that it set some things in place that it did, but I also like that it kind of wrapped up some loose ends from 2004 and 2005 that they kind of needed to be there. As for favorite combiner or favorite character that was on a combiner or set, Lariska is always one that everybody throws out, and I kind of have to agree with that. Lariska is a really interesting character. I wish we had a bit more on her. I think she could have been a very interesting breakout character overall, and I think, I think I can go with her.
Okay, Lariska, fair enough. That's not a bad answer. Okay. In that case, the next set of questions comes from the Dinosaur Planet. He asks two. Firstly, have you ever had a mangosteen?
I actually have not.
It's not surprising. Not many have. It's okay.
We also don't hang out.
That is true.
We gotta hang out more.
Dude, I'm gonna have so many mangosteen this year. Because they have them in Maryland, and so I gotta travel up to Maryland. And just
Yeah,
buy
it's
a
not that far
slew.
away from the DC area.
Yeah, it's like
It's not that.
maybe an hour, less than an hour actually.
I was about to say, if you were gonna say a minute, you may not have been that far off either.
Yeah,
It
no,
feels
it's
like.
not very long.
Oh no, I tripped and I landed in Maryland.
The next question.
My mom used to live in Maryland, so I can make these kind of jokes.
Oh, no, fair enough. Okay. All right, the next question is, what is your favorite BS01 article that you have written, both for quality and just in general?
Oh, of course that has to be a question. All right, hang on a second. So, the problem is, and I need to emphasize this carefully, all of my contributions to BS01 have always been kind of, it's been stuff that, oh, hang on. What did I see? Oh, darn, there is no way of sorting it by what I've created. Well, I'm going to have to go back to the very beginning. A lot of the pages that I created, so for example, I apparently started the Bionicle Journey's End page.
Huh.
Which was, of course, the final Bionicle book that was published in Poland. Apparently, I started that page, but that is not one of my favorites. Yeah, it really depends on which era of BS1 we're talking about, because we've gone through so many eras. That's the problem. So we've had to go back and change so much because we've had to move servers so much, but now I'm happy where we are. And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with this. Yeah, I don't think I actually have an answer at that point.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
not bad.
Problem is, Bionicle is just, it is. I guess if you're going to give the most straightforward answer, yeah, the main page has always been an evolving thing, so I want to change that so badly, but at the point right now, that's probably my favorite page, just because it has so much there that you can get to immediately.
All right,
It's not
that
the
works.
best page, but it's my favorite.
Excellent. Okay. In that
All right.
case, we are going to the YouTube chat for some questions. Mr. Hinklejaws is heading out. Farewell. Thanks for tuning in. Okay.
Yep, I'm glad you were able to listen in and provide us a clarification. That was nice.
Let me see. All right. First question. Happy Brick asks, what is your favorite Bionicle mask? We know the answer. As well as character. Happy Brick says his is the Anika. And his favorite his favorite mask is the Ignika. And his favorite character is either Tahu or Mata Nui.
Very nice. Obviously the Evoki is my favorite. There's just no contest here, and you already knew that. So I'm going to actually answer what my favorite other than the Evoki would be. I've always been partial to the Kakama.
The
It
cow
is a beautiful looking... No, the Kakama.
Oh, the Kakama. Oh, yeah, and I like the Kakama.
Yeah, it's a beautiful mask, and I've always been a fan of the Flash as a character in DC Comics. So having a mask that allows me to become the Flash, sign me up, please. I will take it.
Okay. It's not a bad choice. And character.
Character. Ooh. That is an interesting subject. I'm going to have to go with Vizon. A very interesting character when he's written very well.
I think I know another reason why you'd pick Vazon.
Other than the fact that I created the original Toe of Anarchy, and that he became a Toe of Anarchy.
There we go.
That was fun.
All right. Next question is from Spidey Central. Swert, what is your favorite year?
Favorite year.
We know your least favorite.
Yeah, my least favorite. Thank you. It's a toss-up between either 2002 or 2006. I know that everybody will always answer either 2007 or 2001 as their generic, and that's fine. I have always been partial to 2002 because that's where I started, but 2006 and by extension 2007 have such a solid jump-in point story that it's like, wow, that I can see why everybody would be interested in Bionicle all of a sudden again, because it kind of brought me back from the brink of leaving from 2005. it really brought me back.
Mhm.
So, I'm gonna have to go ahead to go with the coin flip of 2002 and 2006. Whichever side the coin lands on, that's my answer for that very coin flip. I can't
Okay.
separate them.
All right. Okay. The next question in that case is also from Happy Brick, who asks, "What is the best Lego game, excluding the TT Lego games and any Bionicle games?"
Oh,
That's a very small pool.
that is a very small pool. The nostalgic in me is sitting there saying the old Harry Potter creator set and its expansion. Do you remember that?
No, I was never into Harry Potter.
All right. But obviously the right answer would have to be Lego Racer.
Okay, reasonable.
Yeah. I really need to pick up that Forza Horizon 4 expansion pack that they just released. I have the Game Pass, so I really need to pick that game up or that expansion up.
Oh yeah,
only
no,
gonna
that
be-
looks like a
it's-
lot of fun.
It does look like a lot of fun. $18 for me. That's
Oof.
yeah, that's with the Game Pass. It's $20 otherwise. It's a steep price to just go diving into. I wanted to wait a couple of days until the reviews came in for it.
All right, not unreasonable. Okay. The next question is from Lady Heat, who asks, "Who was the guy Makuta was talking to in Mask of Light? The shadow with two red eyes."
Hold on, can you repeat that? Because I don't know
Yeah,
if I caught that correctly.
No, I think you did. Who was the guy Makuta was talking to in Mask of Light? The shadow with two red eyes.
I mean, is this a trivia question?
Now, I think it's just a clarification question. I don't recall Makuta talking to anyone else with red eyes in Mask of Light. He talks to himself a lot in Mask of
He
Light.
talks to himself a lot, and whenever he showed up with his red eyes, he was always talking to Taku in the tunnel. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The only other time you see anybody talking like that, I mean, other than Mask of Light, would have been G2 Makuta talking to Umarok. That was like the only other time you see something like that.
Yeah.
But that's not the same at all.
Yeah. So that's the best we can do.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Zabla asks, "How much did you contribute to the BSO1 timeline page? That page is the foundation of my YouTube series script. I just modify it to sound more natural."
Believe it or not, not as much. All of that timeline came directly from Greg himself at first. He actually sent me that. I don't know when he sent me that or if he sent it to BZ Power first. I know it showed up in my PM list one day and it's like, oh, well, this is pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and reveal this now. That was back before the data wipes of many years.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so we put that in. As far as how much of I contributed, obviously not so much because I'm going to be painfully obvious to this. I don't really write that much on BSO1. I manage it and I pay the bills, and sometimes I don't even pay the bill. Somebody else does it for me. Thank you, the anonymous donor. So yeah, I wish I had been more active in the writing, but it's like the way I write is so different than how it should be written. Because I always write things from an artistic point of view. I don't write from a factual point of view. So I would write things way too bloated. Even explaining this right now is too bloated. I know it is. So.
All right. Okay, cool. Let me see here. Next question is from the Dinosaur Planet. What is your favorite Bionicle comic?
Ooh, that is a tough one. It's probably going to be either one of the 6 from 2002, just because that's where I started. The comics is what got me into Bionicle. Or it's probably, for the cover alone, just the first appearance of Takanuva, because that gold foil hollow cover was such a gorgeous thing to see when you first get the magazine that day.
It is very cool.
Did you get the comics? You had to have gotten the comics during that time, right? Mailed in?
I
Were you
did.
ever in the club?
So I still don't know the exact year I got into Bionicle. It's either late 02 or early 03. However,
Okay,
I started getting the comics in 2004.
Oh, so you had just missed seeing that.
I mean, I have it, but I did not get it when they were sent out.
Sure. So I will say on my nightstand right now, just because it's always right there, there is a box. It is complete with every comic that has been released, including the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive reprint of the first edition. It's missing the comic number 3 of Ignition, San Diego Comic-Con variant. I have not been able to track that comic variant down. I think Sager said he had one, but I wasn't willing to go pay $25 to get a 5-pack including it.
Yeah,
that was a little pricey, and he didn't have it on him at the time when I met with him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would have easily been in my hands that day walking out the door.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been meaning to track that variant down. That's the only one I'm missing.
Fair enough. Okay. I have all the standard comics, and I'm content with that.
Now, I will say one of the other things I'm really happy about is the first time I've ever met Stuart Sager was also on the day at Comic-Con, meeting with Carlos Deanda the same day.
Ah, that's my favorite comic artist.
So I ended up taking both first edition comics and getting them both signed the same day. They are both framed
good.
on my shelf here.
That's excellent.
Yeah, that was a fun day. Did it the exact same day, only like 10 tables away from each other too. That was amazing. So I didn't have to go very far to find him.
That's excellent. Okay. Next question is from RetroZade, who asks, how many theoretical episodes would it take to recap the whole canon Bionicle story in one series without abridging it? So this is really going to come down to however it is done by the individual.
Right.
Excuse me. It's going to be per an individual thing. It's going to depend on a lot of factors. Is there an intro? Is there an outro? How fast does the person talk? How fast do they convey information? Zabla gives an example because Zabla is doing a series about it. So the example given is about 27 to 30, somewhere in that range. It's still work in progress. How I would do it, I think I would do it in a much shorter amount of time, but it also is going to be, well, first of all, I speak very quickly. I convey information very fast. There's a lot of editing as well that goes into that, and it is also going to depend on how much information I would put in. Like, do I have to explain every character? Do I have to break down who this person is?
Right. To go into the backstory, sorry to cut you off, to go back into the backstory would be a very difficult thing, because you can't just say, and then in comes Tahu. Well, who is Tahu? You have to explain who Tahu is. Or no, let's start with just the beginning of the comics. Let's say Kopaka shows up. Well, who's Kopaka? Let's explain Kopaka. And he meets Pohatu. Well, who's Pohatu? Let's explain Pohatu. And that is what drains down, or that pads the time, and that also pads how much you have to put into it. Mm-hmm. So if you have to summarize by saying, well, here is the rundown of what happens, and just assume that you know these characters, then it starts getting muddy. I applaud anybody, and we've also been on a podcast together, though that is also, again, for mature audiences, that is attempting to do almost like a book club style review of the years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's already planned out to be, I want to say it was, 28 episodes, something like that?
Yeah.
I'd have to look at what their list was. It's probably not that high. Probably only about 18, actually. I know I'm already scheduled for at least 2 more episodes coming up.
Yeah, I think I'm scheduled for 1 more as well.
Did you actually schedule for them? I didn't see your name in the list. Hang on.
We talked about it. It might have been I might not be scheduled yet, but I'm going to be on one of them coming up. I don't know when, though. Or rather, like, in the October-ish area.
Oh, okay. So, probably... Okay.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right. Yeah, no, 20 episodes planned. That's what it was.
Okay, so yeah, I would say I think with that estimate and Zabla's, anywhere between 20 to 30 is a fairly reasonable estimate. So, okay. Next question. This comes from Happy Brick. Have you ever broken any pieces?
Yes. both on accident and because I work as a professional Lego artist on purpose.
Okay.
I have done everything. I have cut, I have glued, I have sanded, I have scraped the designs off of minifigure torsos. I actually discovered, with the assistance of my sister, in fact, a method on how to take the decals off of torsos and faces without scuffing up. And in fact, it enhances the Lego underneath.
How do you do that?
So we found this interesting method, and it's a little hard to get a hold of this because some people are nervous about going to these type of stores, but are you familiar with stores like Cosmoprof?
No.
So these are cosmetic supply stores. Now, Cosmoprof is a high-end example because they require an esthetician's license to even shop there. But the low end is Sally's Beauty Supply. What we found was this nail buffing pad, which has a gridded side on one side, but it's a very soft grit, and a buffing, like a shine side on the other. So you actually could buff off the tile or whatever. It restores any type of Lego you put against it, except for anything acrylic, which is, of course, all the clear windows and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It's super interesting how it just... I've recovered so much old tile that have been scuffed up and scraped. You know how easy tile can get scraped up, right? I'm assuming you've seen at least one scraped tile.
Oh, yeah.
It restores it, and it actually adds a secondary shine to it. I think I can almost get it mirror finish on some tile. It's shocking.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Oh, but we ended up buying some printed red tiles for a project that we were doing for the Susan B. Anthony house. Actually commissioned some Lego sets. They're actually on sale in their gift shop right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually buffed out all of the decal on those torsos using this method. It takes about 30 seconds of buffing.
Goodness.
The original method of using just some other things like nail polish remover, which actually doesn't really work that well. It actually melts your Lego. Or using like Brasso, that takes a couple of minutes and you never get the good results.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to rinse it off. This requires no rinsing. So we sped up our process so fast using this method. I've actually recovered some pieces using that. Anyway, I'm going down a rat hole. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. Okay, not bad.
But I have accidentally broken pieces before to answer the question.
Oh yeah, I feel like we all have at some point. So, okay, we are actually going to make this next question the last one, and then we are going to go ahead and wrap up. I apologize, there are a lot of questions, but we are running a bit long, so we are going to go ahead and close it with this one, because I think it's a fun one.
All right.
Gustavus asks, Swert and Eljay, what would win in a fight? 1 Tatarak-sized Nui Jaga or 100 Nui Jaga-sized Tatarak?
That's a good question. That's a really good question, isn't it? Not sure how to answer that. What do you think?
Well, it's going to depend on the power set of the Tatarak. Tatarak. Let me see. Okay, it just relies on brute strength. But a Tatarak's hide is vulnerable to a Zevon's stinger.
Right. So, depending on how powerful the Nui Jaga stinger is, which, since the only examples we've ever seen has been using, the poison shooting at the mask, that's not quite the same as the other way. That's interesting. I'm going to have to go ahead and say, I think the 100 Nui Jaga size Tatarak, that might be the winner there. Just because the Tatarak does get to be very powerful. Has a power advantage. Plus, there's a numbers advantage there. That'd be my answer. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving it some thought. Yeah, I'm gonna... All right, both are at full power and power scales to size. Nah, I'm gonna go with the Todorok. Yeah, the 100 Todorok.
Yeah, it makes the most sense.
Yeah, because they are immensely strong, and it is really a numbers game at that point. Todorok are also semi sentient, so they're reasonably intelligent. They're far more intelligent than a Nui Jaga.
Apparently, there's clarification that both are at full power and in power scales to size. So, essentially speaking, the Nui Jaga would end up with the 100 times scale or whatever, based on the size.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with the Todorok.
I think the Todorok would still do it. One Todorok at the size that he was at rampaged Metro Nui pretty hard in the comic, and yeah, no, I think the Todorok could do it. Plus, they were mighty steeds to begin with.
Yeah,
I would imagine they have to have some power behind them.
Yeah,
the Nui Jaga were
like the Nui Jaga's gonna have to. It's not even gonna have the option to step on them necessarily. It would have to use its stinger to like stamp every one of them out, and that's gonna take a lot of time. And in that time, it's already overrun.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, we see this a lot with ants. Ants can take down something many times their size.
I would also like to think that the Nui Jaga, you know, I don't think it would stand up to itself very well, or in that scale, because it's actually not that much bigger or smaller than a Tartarok. I mean, in terms of no, I guess it is a lot bigger.
Todorok stood at about 40 feet tall.
Right, and Nui Jaga is no different than the height of a Toa in that regard. You're right.
Let me double check. Maybe we have some size. Okay, we do not have a measurement for the Nui Jaga, but yeah, it is a little bit bigger than a Toa.
Well, if we're gonna be basing it on the sets, because that's my only reference, the Toa were all supposed to be the exact same height.
About 7 feet tall, and the Nui Jaga is it's a little bit bigger than that.
So about, let's call it 10 feet. So 1/4 the size, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you still have 100 of the 10-foot tall Tartaroks just running around. That is still going to defeat a 140-foot tall Nui Jaga. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
With its only single attack. Tartarok has at least 3 points of attack. It's massive jaws, its arms, and a tail, thrashing everything. I'm sorry, the Nui Jaga's going down.
Yeah, I think eventually it might even be a battle of attrition, but eventually, yeah, it will stop.
Yeah, it might take out a couple of Tartarok, but we don't want to think about that. That's pretty sad too. They'll be knocked unconscious, we promise.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and cap things there. Thank you all so much for listening. And Swert, I'll ask you the final question. Is there anywhere on social media you would like people to follow you at?
Well, I am on Twitter. I am just at SwertMastra. I am on Facebook if you want to try and find me there. I have a YouTube page, but I don't upload at all. I'm on Discord if you want to try and find me there. I'm in a couple of different Bionicle Discord groups. You can find me there. And if all else fails, you know where to find me on BioSector01.
All right. Fair enough. In that case, the links to that will be in the description below. I highly recommend checking it all out. Oh, also, I will have links to the trailer that we showed earlier in the description.
Absolutely.
Additionally, so definitely check that out as well. Okay, that's.
And I want to end on one final note. Sorry to cut you off on your exit.
Go for it.
By all means, please follow the BioSector01 social media, either Twitter or Facebook. That is where majority of the Bionicle Day stuff will be posted as far as news goes. And especially look out for the trivia quiz I'm going to be putting out. That is coming up possibly on the 1st of July, if not the 10th of July. I think I want to make it a month away.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's good. All right, excellent. It's good to know. Okay, that'll do it. Swert, thanks so much for taking the time today. This has been a blast.
Yeah, always a fun time talking to you, man.
Awesome. All right, in that case, that'll be it. Thank you all so very much for listening. This has been yet again another episode of The Eljay Johnsen Show. This show airs every single weekend, every Saturday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise, over on Twitter at The Eljay Johnsen, where you can find updates and guest announcements every single Tuesday. And if you have any questions over the week, make sure you send them to my email, eljayjohnsen@gmail.com. Remember, that's JOHNSEN. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you all again next time. Have a great week.